If it wasn't for those two beautiful children, I'd probably be dead by now. Because I have come to the... I've come that close to killing myself. Because I just can't take any more. But I can't because of those kids.
When we think of terms like slavery, that can conjure up images of someone being held in chains or perhaps held in a room with bars on the window. Modern slavery is more subtle than that.
You think this is crocodile tears? It's not. It's the hurt that that woman's put me through. Ruling my life for God knows how long. Not being able to do anything.
It didn't take long for our informant to notice that things weren't quite right at the address. Jay didn't seem to be able to do anything right. Jay was looking after the children, she was doing the dishes, she was cooking the meals, she was doing laundry, and she appeared to be living at the address. She said she'd been living with the family since 2004 and gradually over that time had become more and more dependent on them. She had been completely separated from her own family, her grown-up children, and she had not been paid at all.
I've got no contact with my family. And when I lost my mother, I found out 2 weeks later that she'd gone through a friend of my brother's, and I never even got the chance to say goodbye to her.
Something obviously wasn't right, and having been told about Jay's experience, our informant went to the council and told adult social services about what she had been told. They in turn contacted Sussex Police. It became apparent pretty quickly that Jay's entire life was within that house. She didn't have access to her passport, she didn't have access to any of her ID documents, she didn't have access to her bank cards or any other financial information in her name. She was completely dependent on whatever was provided to her by Farzana Kausar.
She intimidates me, she humiliates me in front of people. That's what she's good at. She makes me feel about that big, you know, in front of everybody. And I just stand there and put up with it. Because I didn't confront her about it, because she'd go for me.
Farzana Kausar relied on controlling her victim. Jay wasn't able to go to the GP surgery on her own. Anytime she wanted to talk in private to a GP, Farzana Kausar would be there. Jay was also physically abused, chastised when it was perceived that she had done something wrong.
Pulled my hair, she scratched my face. As I said, she slammed the door on my foot. She's broken my glasses, ripped my necklace, ripped a nightie.
Jay herself completely fell off the radar. The numbers the police had for her were disconnected. The GP surgery that she was registered at reported that she had moved to another surgery, though they didn't have the details. And it was only when the officer in charge of the case at the time received a letter from Jay, was there any update to how she had been doing. This letter, though, was quite out of character. Jay wrote to the officer saying that the allegations against Farzana Kausar were a mistake. They were, in fact, a complete fabrication by our informant to get Farzana Kausar into trouble, and that because of Jay's own poor mental health, things had been misunderstood, and Farzana was nothing else but an innocent family friend who had been looking out for Jay all this time. Officers would eventually establish from Jay that after Farzana had been released, she would strike up conversation with her when she seemingly bumped into her around Brighton and Hove, and eventually Jay was encouraged to come back and live with the family. Jay was removed from that address by officers and brought back to a safe address in Brighton and Hove.
I've got to start having a life. I can't be cooped up indoors all the time, not being able to go out, not being able to go to a shop and buy myself something without being told off.
Whilst Jay was held behind closed doors, the nature of modern slavery and the complexity of these offences mean that other victims may be hidden in plain sight. If you have any concerns about anybody in your community, then all you need to do is trust your gut and let us know.